Here we have been discussing about the types of diagrams from the last two sessions. Let us continue discussing about types of diagrams. Here, there are three types of diagrams already we have mentioned: one dimensional diagram, two dimensional diagram, and three dimensional diagram. So, the square, circle, rectangle, etc., these may fail to represent the data if the quantities which are to be represented are half fully diverse. So in such a cases, three-dimensional diagrams are drawn. They are called so because length, height, and width or depth are considered, and these comprise of cubes, spheres, prisms, cylinders, or blocks, etc. So, of all these cubes are the easiest to draw, as the side of the cube can easily be found out by taking the cube root of the data. Three-dimensional diagrams are also called as bar diagrams. So three-dimensional diagrams which are consisting of length, width, and height or depth, and these are taken into consideration while drawing three-dimensional diagrams. So therefore, three-dimensional diagram is a type of diagram in which the diagrams which are used for representing statistical the data, and three dimensional diagrams which consist of length, width, and height or depth, and these are taken into consideration while drawing three dimensional diagrams. So if the difference between the minimum and maximum value is so wide, then it is difficult to represent them by square or circle diagram. Then three-dimensional diagram is used. Already I mentioned. So for this cubic roots of the given numbers is calculated. Cubic roots of the given numbers should be calculated, and three-dimensional diagrams which include cubes, blocks, spheres, and cylinders, etc. So therefore, three-dimensional charts which provide a visually effective display that is suitable for the presentations. So therefore, three-dimensional diagrams which include cubes, blocks, spheres, and cylinders. So therefore, three-dimensional the diagrams or the charts which provide a visually effective the informations or display, and that is suitable for the presentations. And these three-dimensional diagrams which are to be used for representing the statistical the data and analyzing and taking the useful decisions by businessmen or economist. Three-dimensional uh, column, bar, line, and area charts plotted data by using three axes. Three-dimensional pie charts have a three-dimensional visual effect. For example, three-dimensional the diagrams, the examples for three-dimensional diagrams are cubes, cylinders, prisms, spheres. So these are some of the examples which are mentioned, and the figures are also quoted here. And these three-dimensional diagrams like cubes, cylinders, prisms, and spheres, which consists of length, height, and width. So therefore we can mention, or we can show the statistical the data by dividing the data into the various the segments or the parts, and and each segment which show the statistical the data. So and these the diagrams which represent the data to all the people, and they may easily understand the statistical the data. So the ordinary people who have less knowledge in statistics, they can understand clearly, and these are most suited to them. Now, pictograms. So, pictogram, this is one type of three dimensional diagram, and here pictogram refers to it is a chart that uses pictures to represent the data, and pictograms are set out in the same way as bar charts, but instead of bars they use columns of pictures to show the numbers involved. So pictogram ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ದಟ್ ಯೂಸಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವುದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಅಂಡ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಅದು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So pictograms are set out in the same way as bar charts. ಬಾರ್ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಸೆಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ ನಾವು ಶೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಾರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಬಾರ್ಸ್ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಫಾರ್ ಶೋಯಿಂಗ್ numbers involved. So therefore a pictogram uh, is a three one type of three dimensional diagram, and it is a chart that uses pictures to represent statistical data, and pictograms are set out in the same way as bar charts, but instead of that we can use columns of pictures for showing numbers which are involved. So pictograms are also known as picture grams, and which are very frequently used in representing statistical the data. Pictograms are drawn with the help of pictures. So these pictograms can be drawn with the help of pictures, and these diagrams indicate towards the nature of the represented the facts. So therefore pictograms are very attractive to all the people, and easy to comprehend, and as such this method is particularly useful in presenting statistics to the layman. And the picture which is used as symbols to represent the pictures which are used as symbols to represent the units or values of any the values of any, and each picture can count as the units, and thereby it gives some it gives some idea to understand, and each variable or commodity selected carefully, and the picture symbol must be self. So the pictograms pictograms or a charts that uses pictures to represent the data, and this is one type of the three-dimensional diagram and pictograms which are set out in the same way as bar charts, but instead of that we can use columns of pictures to show numbers which are involved, and these pictograms are also known as pictograms and frequently used for representing statistical the data, and with the help of pictures we can represent the data by drawing. And now pictograms have certain merits. They are magnitudes of the variables may be known by counting the pictures. So magnitude of the variable may be known by counting the pictures, by counting each picture. And all illiterate person can also get the information. Illiterate person can able to understand, and they can uh, get the information by counting each picture. So the facts represented in a pictorial form can be remembered. So we can remember the facts which are represented in a pictorial form. And even the non-mathematical person and layman and uneducated and less knowledge in statistics can able to understand the data by counting each picture, and each the picture which counts the magnitudes of the variables. So pictograms are used by government and non-government organizations. So even though the government and non-government organizations, NGOs, uh, they are using pictograms for the purpose of advertisement and publicity through appropriate the pictures. So because of understanding by even less knowledge in statistics, cartograms and pictograms, and these are most suited for representing the data and for advertisement and publicity purpose. So it is a popular technique, particularly when statistical facts are to be presented for a layman having no background of mathematics or statistics. uh, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ದಲೇ ಇರೋ ಅಂತಹವರು ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲೆಸ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇರೋ ಅಂಥವ್ರು, ಈವನ್ ನಾನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡಾಟಾವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಈ ಒಂದು pictograms muganthara, cartograms and pictograms. So these are the best the types of, and the types of three dimensional the diagrams. And for representing data relating to social, business and economic phenomena for general masses in of in fairs and exhibitions, this method is used. And particularly the general masses in general masses, where more number of the people involved in programs like business exhibitions, and uh, workshops, seminars, conferences, or social or business and economic phenomena. So in that programs, or in that cases, this method of statistical the data can be used for representing or showing the statistical method. This type of the statistical the method or tool can be used for representing or for showing the data about the various the programs for the purpose of advertisement, for giving advertisement, and for creating awareness among the people, and for making publicity. So these types of three dimensional the three dimensional diagrams can be used. So for example, the following data, this is a illustrated given. uh, the following the table shows number of computers solid computers sold by a company for the months January to March. Where from this illustration we have to construct pictograph for the table, pictograph for the understanding purpose. So here different months are given, and each month as a number of computers sold. So in the month of January, total 25 computers had been sold, and February 35, and March 20 computers had been sold out. So therefore, 25, here the pictures, the computer, the picture like computer is shown, is represented, and each computer which represents five computer. Each figure, each figure which represents computer which counts, which represents or which counts five. So 5 into 5, 25, 25 computers. And here in the month of February, total number of computers which are shown in a table, 7. Therefore 7 fives are 35, because each computer counts as 5. And in the month of March, four computers are shown here. 4 fives are 20, because each computer which count as 5. So therefore this is what pictograph pictograph. So this can be understood by a layman or the common people. And another example which is mentioned quoted here, the pictograph shows number of students using the various types of transport to go to school. So bus, bicycle, car. So it shows number of students are using the various types of transport to go to school. So four students are using bus, and two students are using bicycle, and five students are using car. So each figure which represents four students, each figure which count as four students. So therefore 4 fours are 16, 4 fours are 16, and 4 twos are 8, and 4 fives are 20. 20 students are using car to go to school. Now, cartograms. A cartogram is a map. It is a map in which the geometry of the regions is distorted in order to convey the information of an alternate the variable. So the region area will be inflated or deflated according to its numerical the value. So cartograms, in cartograms, a cartogram, it is a three-dimensional the diagram which is used in statistics for representing the data. And statistical, the facts or the data are presented through maps accompanied by various types of the diagrammatic the representation, and it presents the numerical facts in a pictorial form, in a geographical or spatial distribution. And cartograms are simple and are easy to understand, and they are generally used when regional or geographic comparisons are to be made. So therefore a cartogram is a map. It is a map. It is a map in which the geometry of the regions is distorted in order to convey the information of an alternate variable. So it is a map because the data which is to be shown by using the map, so in the various the mass, the media, or in newspapers, and other if and other the in other the tools, or in other area we can use the cartograms for the purpose of for getting an idea about the data. So generally we see in the newspapers and in televisions, so the data which is to be shown in different regions because in rainfall, ದೇಶದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ವೈಸು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಲರನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಲರ್ಗೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಒಂದು ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈಚ್ ಕಲರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಡಿಪಿಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಡೇಟಾ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಕಮಾಡಿಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡುವುದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಎ ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಕೋರೋ choropleth map. Choropleth map where regions are colored according to a numerical value. The one used to build the cartogram. So therefore, cartograms are the maps which are also used to represent the data. So cartograms are simple and elementary form of the visual presentation. So these are simple and easy to understand, and these are the elementary form of a visual presentation and are very easy to understand. Even non-mathematical or layman or uneducated, the people like the agriculturalists and other, the common people or ordinary people can able to understand the data by seeing, just by observing the colors which are shown in region wise or area wise, the data which are shown while highlighting regional or geographical comparisons. Mapographs or cartograms are generally used by representing the facts or the data by maps. So the impact of the results on different geographical area may be shown and to be compared also. So we can compare the data of one state to the data of another state. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ another state. So ಹೀಗೆ and the covid of one state to number of cases occurred in one state to another state, another state. So how many cases has been mentioned in one state to another state. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೇಸಸ್. ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ಡಿಪಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. So and comparison is also possible, and maps are helpful in comparative study of the various districts of a state or different states of a country. Now the merits of cartograms. So here certain the merits of cartograms are quoted here, are mentioned here. The merits of cartograms are like pictograms, this type of diagram. cartogram which looks attractive and interesting, and they given geographical or spatial distribution of data which enriches one's knowledge in geography, and they leave a lasting impression in the minds of the observers. So ಅದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವರ್ ಯಾರಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ the idea about the data, or the facts, immediately or easily, and it remains the data or fact in that mind. It keeps it ಅವರ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. They leave a lasting impression in the minds of the observers, and always it goes on reminding in that a particular the person about the data. So these three are the merits or advantages of the cartogram. Now, uh, the demerits of the cartograms or the drawl of a cartogram is very difficult, as it involves the drawal of a map of a country or a state. So it is involved some difficult to the drawal of a map of a country or the state. It takes some difficult, it takes some risk to draw. So it is very difficult to, and as it involves the drawal of a map of a country or the state, and they need the drawal of some pictograms also. They need some drawal of some pictograms, and they give only an appropriate idea of the problem, which may not be exhaustive sufficient for exhaustive study. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಪನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಡಾಟಾವನ್ನು ಶೋ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ನೀಡ್ ದಿ ಡ್ರಾಯಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ಕಾರ್ಟೂನ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. They need the drawal of some pictograms also, and they give only an appropriate idea of the problem. So cartogram which gives us only an approximate idea of the problem, which may not be sufficient for exhaustive study. ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟ್ ಐಡಿಯಾನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಸಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಸ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ದೀಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಮೆರಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ disadvantages of cartograms. So here, for example, the production of wheat versus rice in different geographical areas can also be represented by cartogram. So the quantities on the map can be shown in many ways, such as through shades or colors, or by dots, or by placing pictograms in each geographical area, or by appropriate numerical figure in each geographical area. So in a different geographical area, now production of wheat or rice in different geographical area can also be represented by cartogram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Quantities on the map can be shown in many ways. So quantities ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ can be shown in many ways. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ? ಶೇಡ್ಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಶೇಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕಲರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಾಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ in each geographical area, ಅಥವಾ by appropriate numerical figure ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಶೇಡ್ ಏನು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೀಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ರೈಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಆ, ಏನು ಶೇಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಲರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಾಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬೈ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಈಚ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಆರ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಪ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಮೆರಿಕಲ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಶೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಕಲರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಶೋಸ್ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ಲಿ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ quantities of the productions of productions of wheat or the rice had been produced ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಲರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ wheat ಆರ್ ರೈಸ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಲರು ನಮಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ವೀಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೈಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ wheat as well as rice by in by analyzing uh, 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 the shade or the color. ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಲರ್ ಬಳಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಲರ್ ಬಳಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಆ ಕಲರನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡಾಟಾ by using color or the data means dot, color or dot or numerical the figure. So this is another the example which is quoted. The data or the facts which are represented by using the color, and each color which shows each color which depicts the statistical the data. So therefore, pictograms and cartograms, these are the statistical the methods in three-dimensional the diagrams, which are very effective and useful to understand easily, and just by an observing we can understand clearly the statistical the data, and these are most helpful to the layman or non-mathematical the person, or even the ordinary the people ordinary man can able to understand, and they may know easily just by seeing or observing or by observing. So this is about three-dimensional diagrams, pictogram as well as cartogram.